Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of ELLAAAA.
Hey,
Yes. I'm Ricky, and
I'm Cindy.
so this is our very first episode. We're going to start up this podcast and do a weekly show. So the reason why it's called ELLAAAA, a little background story to that is that anytime my friends and I say something about someone that's like cool, or we're just trying to like point at somebody and say, look at what they're wearing, or whatever, you always go, ELLAAAA.
No, that's not it. You guys are so messy and
Okay,
y'all do
so
it. Y'all do it whenever you're trying to be messy, when you see
not all the
somebody
time, but
and they're
usually
super
most.
gay
Most of the
and don't
time it
know.
is messy.
Yeah.
But I will give you an AI right now because of that hat, girl.
Thanks,
AI. Loving the
girl.
hat, by the way. Loving it.
So
So yeah.
let me just tell you about my hat.
Okay.
I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. Ricky, you're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And in Fort Worth, we have a few different art shows and festivals. And one of them is the Main Street Arts Festival. I don't know if you ever went, Ricky, when you were
I
here.
have. Yeah.
But it's so, like, it's one of my favorite events. And there's different artists and different vendors and stuff. And I always like to support small businesses. And so Diane Hardy, she's actually based out of Colorado. Colorado? Anyways, and so she hand makes the hats, and I absolutely had to have one. So this is like a little teacup, and then it's got the
Love it.
little
I see the
sugar
little
cube.
sugar cubes. Very
Yeah,
cute.
and you know I live for anything that's like in my hair, because you stole my birdcage veil from my maid of honor.
That is true. I almost thought about wearing it right now, but I think it's a little too much. Maybe in another episode.
Yeah.
But
So, but
go
it
ahead.
brings it actually. I wanted to ask you. So you live in a very like Hispanic named town. And we've talked about this before because you grew up in El Paso. And I feel like people from El Paso are so gung ho about not being labeled as Mexican or anything like that, right? And so I'm wondering, I just mentioned like Colorado because that sounds weird to me. I always say Colorado
Yeah.
or Albuquerque because I have family in Albuquerque too. So how do you say Albuquerque? Do you say like how
So
do you
I say Albuquerque and Rio Rancho. I actually live in Rio Rancho, which is a
say
suburb of Albuquerque, north of
Okay.
Albuquerque. Um, Funny you mentioned that, but since I've moved here, I've tried to be a little bit more in touch with my Latin roots, and I like to roll my R's now and talk Spanish.
Nice.
Um, but I
In
get
front of
shit
you.
for it here.
Yeah.
So a lot of the natives here in the Albuquerque, Rio Rancho area, like they don't talk proper Spanish. So, example, there's a street called Alameda, which to me I call it Alameda, but it's Alameda.
Oh.
Yeah, and even the Hispanic people here talk with an English accent, so it's like
Yeah.
Ricky Alvarez, not Ricky Alvarez.
Alvarez. Yeah. Like so, kind of like in New York, it's Soho South Houston, right? Is that how they pronounce it instead of Houston? So there's a builder here. He's I think his name it's John Houston, Houston, but like I never know how to say it because it just depends
Oh, I
on
see
what
what you're
part of
saying.
yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha.
I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
potato, potato.
funny.
But
I
yeah, so long story short, Cindy and I have known each other for, I
Oh my
mean,
gosh, I don't
over
even
10
know
years
how
for sure.
long.
It's been a long
Oh,
time.
way more than I've almost been married for 7 years, so it's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
way.
it's been over 10 years for sure. Because I left the bank when I had 10 plus years, and then we met when I started working here.
Oh, that's right. We met whenever you were in training.
So we worked together for a long time. We became really good friends, and we've been talking about doing this podcast for quite some time. We wanted it to be called Yo No Más Digo because we,
Mhm.
talk a lot. We have like fun conversations, especially when we're, having drinks and happy hour and whatnot. And we just get into topics and we're, like, I'm just saying, like,
Right. And we agree
so
to disagree. We never,
yeah, nothing bad. We're just
right,
so
right.
anyways, and I want to give a props to where that came from. My grandmother, who's no longer with us, she used to say that Thank you. She used to say that when she wanted to say something shady to somebody. So she
Right.
would tell my mom would come into a conversation with her and my aunt, sister, and they'd be talking about my mom, and my mom's like, what are you guys talking about? So my grandmother would tell my mom, nomás, nomás estamos hablando, nada mal, nomás lo que
Right.
es. Like
Right.
in other words,
Digo
yo
que,
nomás digo lo que es, nada mal. I'm
yeah.
just saying what it is, just saying like it is. I'm not saying
Yeah.
anything bad. I'm not throwing any shade, but you really
Yeah.
but
Sorry, I had to take a quick pause because I've got a whole fucking daycare upstairs and they're being way
oh
too
my
fucking loud.
gosh. Well, that's a good segue into our, let's talk about what's
Segue!
going on. Everybody's going through it and feeling it right now. We're all sheltering in place. Well, most states are. There's a few
Right.
out there that still have not. Uh, but I'm in a state that is doing shelter in place, which is New Mexico, and I believe Texas just followed suit more recently, right?
We've been sheltering in place for 3 weeks now. And they just,
Really? I thought that was just more
no,
recent.
Dallas, well, you know what? I don't even, like the days have just run together. I really don't know actually, but so Dallas, they have a lot more cases than we do, and so they did the shelter in place through I think April 7th or something, and then they just yesterday extended it to May something, and
Yeah.
so Fort Worth usually follows suit, but ours isn't called shelter in place; it's called y'all stay home.
I love it. That's cute.
So yeah, but we're it's the same. Like we can't go to sit down restaurants. As you know, my mom has a restaurant, and
Plug it,
she
girl. Plug it.
well she tried to do the takeout, and it was okay, but it just wasn't worth. Like she was spending more staying open for a few orders than it was
Oh, okay.
worth. Yeah. And so she closed, and she originally wanted to close just until the end of the month. But, you know, as you know, again, she's a very Christian woman. And so she's been praying about it and she wanted to open on April 1st, but she just didn't have peace about it at all. She didn't want to risk exposing anybody else to anything. She would feel awful if somebody got sick because of, you
Right.
know, because this disease, you don't really show symptoms a lot of the time and then you still spread it. And it's so dangerous for people who have underlying conditions, and
Yeah.
even young people that are completely healthy apparently have been really impacted. So she just hasn't had any peace about it. She's had nightmares and stuff. And so,
Yeah.
but I've been trying to support local businesses.
Same here.
Yeah, so my sister-in-law, she was furloughed from her steakhouse, and they've been doing a fundraiser every weekend. And so we go and get some dinner there, every weekend and stuff. I don't know, just trying to oh yeah, and then yesterday, oops, you're not supposed to touch your face.
I know. Look, you have me do it too.
So yesterday, I had to take the kids to my sister-in-law because you're funny.
It's on my desk.
So I'm a realtor, and it was recently deemed essential for Texas realtors. So I have a buyer who is in desperate need to find a house. They just moved here from California, and they've been living in an RV. So I went and showed him a house yesterday. It was vacant, and I took wipes and gloves and mask and everything. But I dropped the kids off with my sister-in-law. And we were like, man, like we're so bored. Like, let's just get drunk. And we had a virtual happy hour with my broker office, and somebody had mentioned that one of the local businesses that if you bought a gift card through them, that they would deliver a gallon. They would deliver your gift card and then a gallon of margaritas, like fully ready frozen margaritas, a gallon.
Nice.
So I'm like, okay, well, let me get 5 gift cards, because that's how much it would cost to rent one of their machines, because that's what they do. They rent their margarita machines. And so I was like, well, I'll just go ahead and get 5 gift cards. So they dropped off 5 gallons of margaritas.
Oh my God, Cindy.
I know. We didn't drink it all that day or whatever. I actually didn't.
Just 4 of them.
No. So anyway, so we were just at home or whatever, just, drinking. And I don't know what the point of that was. Oh, well.
We're talking about how we're coping with the situation and how in Texas it's different from New Mexico. Here, like it's
Oh,
not.
that's what I was gonna say. Sorry.
No, that's
So
good.
I
Go.
I tipped him $20,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
even though I bought 5 gift cards, and then he was taking forever to deliver it, and we were like, okay, we need to get drunk, right? And so I went to Eskimo Hut, which is this like drive-through alcohol place that's been around forever, and I tipped them $10. So like that's my point is I've been over tipping people just because I
Mhm.
know that it's hard right now. It's like
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
you know I would just want to try to make a difference, and I can
Yeah.
afford it right now. So
Yeah. I'm the same way.
yeah,
So I've put the fear of God in my mother and my father. My mother is more attentive to the situation
what you
and is
say?
like nervous about it. But
Yeah,
my dad and even some of my in-laws, they just want to go out and go to the store and not shelter in place. Like,
yeah.
it's scary. But anyway, same as
But
you
where your mom is still in El
in El
Paso, right?
Paso. So my mom and my father are in El Paso, my stepfather, my sister. A lot
Yeah,
of my family's in El Paso. The only family I have here in Albuquerque area is
your in-law,
John's family, which are my in-laws.
right?
Um, but yeah, so um, I've been ordering from local businesses for food when I don't cook, and I'm still able to provide the services. Like you said, it was hard for your mom
Yeah,
to make ends meet, but um, yeah, I mean, we're just here. John and I have just been, that's my husband. We've just been staying in and cleaning and organizing, and we just got this brand new house. We just
yeah.
closed like a week and a half before we had to shelter in place, so we got
Okay, I was
lucky.
going to ask you because right now, like I said, we can still do real estate, and our title companies were deemed essential from the
Yep,
beginning because
same here.
they're part of the financial umbrella.
Yep.
But most of the title companies here, they won't let us, the realtors, go to closing.
Well,
Which
so my friend had that problem last week. Her and her partner, they were supposed to close on a Tuesday, and then they got told, never mind. There was this big old escandalo between her and her apartment complex, and
where?
in Albuquerque, she was
Oh,
trying to close and on their new house close by me by Rio Rancho. So they're moving. They're like maybe 5-10 minutes away, but yeah, they told her at the last minute that they weren't going to be able to close because shelter in place had just been announced that day. The governor
oh
came
yeah.
out and said, and so
So
they
it was
called
just
them right
kind of
away and they're like,
scary, like we didn't know what. Yeah. Well, no.
but Saturday they closed that same week. They ended up closing after
Yeah,
all. I don't know how they did it, if they did electronically or what
yeah.
happened.
So the title company that I really like to work with, my friend works there, and she, they're offering a lot of like mobile services. So they will come to you, and then they'll try to do like a contactless closing, that kind of thing. But realtors are not allowed to go, and that's one thing that I love to do. I love to be there with
Mhm.
my client, and that way, if they have any questions about the documents, my clients have been working with me this whole time,
Right.
and the title agent, aside from a couple of emails here and there, they don't really know them. And so I like to be there and explain the documents to them because, we worked in default servicing before. So we're familiar with all of those
Yep.
documents with the deeds and stuff like that. And so I feel like they trust me a little bit more than they do a title agent. And I don't think I'm going to be able to go to my next 2 closings. And
Why don't you have them put you on FaceTime or
we
something?
have, yeah. So a couple of
Okay.
agents in my office, they say that, FaceTime or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
still not the same,
It isn't, but you're
and
still
like
there,
a bottle of
to
champagne and like a little housewarming gift and stuff.
yeah.
So it's just a little sad, but you know what? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I mean, and this will pass. The good thing about
right.
this is now I think everyone's taking it a lot more serious than they did
Yeah.
even a week ago.
So that's
Like
what I
now
wanted
it's,
to ask you. What did you think, back in January, whenever all of these cases started to make the news in China and all this other stuff, like what did you think about it whenever it first?
I honestly didn't think it was going to make it here. Like I thought that it was just something that was going to stay in Asia and overseas, and we might see a little here, a few cases here and there. But honestly, I didn't think it was going to be this bad. However, when it did start hitting the United States and I started seeing what was going on around the world, like in Spain and Italy where they were getting really bad. And these are like countries that are not third world countries. They're countries like us that are very established and, have, a good amount of population that live middle class and have money, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy how this just blew up so quickly. Now, I did take it very seriously probably towards February after I traveled. I got sick after I traveled to Colorado.
Mm?
Colorado. I went to Denver for a business trip,
Yeah.
and when I got back, I got sick and I had a fever, chills, a bad dry cough. So
You probably had it.
that's what I'm telling everybody. Like, I really think that I already had it and I survived it. I got your regular antibiotics that they prescribe you, when you have an infection. But it was
Well,
all.
this is viral, so there's really not,
And maybe I didn't have it because as soon as I started taking it, I got better. I don't know.
better.
But
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I think that people are starting to take it more serious, and so I'm hoping that all this will pass, in the next month or two, and I don't think that it'll ever go away. I think we're gonna have a vaccine that will come out, and it'll be like a flu shot, and every year you get it just to make sure that you know.
Kind of like smallpox, like
Yeah,
that whole
I
thing.
think so.
So,
So
so my broker, I mean, he has been obsessed with this since I want to say even December. Like he has been obsessed with this, and I mean, I'm a little embarrassed now, right, to admit it, but I was like, dude, it's gonna be okay.
a
Like
lot of people did.
it's got a 97% survival rate. I mean, it's just a super cold or it's just like a flu. Who cares, And he was just like, nah, like you really have to take this seriously. And then it started coming out that the elderly and people with underlying
Yep.
conditions. So I was like, okay, well then just stay away from grandma. It's not a big deal, blah blah blah. But underlying conditions is not only like asthma and cancer, stuff like that, but it's also immunocompromised people. So
Right.
anybody who has Hashimoto's, which is most of the women my age, um, it's like it's all of these other underlying conditions that are complicating this disease, and even healthy people, So I am embarrassed to say that I really didn't think that it was that serious, even if it did come
You're
to the
not
United
alone.
States. Who cares? It's just a cold. Quit
Yeah.
being a baby.
I argued with a lot of my family because of
Yeah.
it. My sister wanted to take my mom to San Francisco the weekend of my birthday, which was last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept telling her from the beginning of March, it's not going to happen. Don't even think about it. And my sister was not hearing it. I still to
Yeah.
this day, and if she watches this podcast, I told you so. I really wanted to tell her that. But yeah, my mom didn't even want to go. She got scared. She's like,
Right.
no. Like my mom, but my sister was doing that. She's taking my mom and her mother-in-law together on a trip to San
Yeah,
Francisco.
totally.
It was gonna be, a trip for them to, remember forever. But I'm like, look, just postpone it. When all this blows over, then you can go. Because what are you gonna do if you take your mom and your mother-in-law and they get sick? And
Right.
California was hit pretty bad. San Francisco is really bad too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey, so can I take a step back? We forgot to tell people the drinking word.
Oh yeah. So let's do that, and then we'll go into our next segment because I kind of want to tell everybody what our show's about. So this is
Okay.
kind of was a little intro for us to give to y'all so you guys know who we are, and then we're kind of just talking about what's going on in today's climate, current events. But the whole purpose of our show is really to talk about some of our favorite reality TV shows as well. And so that's going to be our next segment here in a minute, and we'll get right to it. But to Cindy's point, we want to have a drinking word every week. So this week, Cindy's going to pick it, and next week I'll pick it, and we'll do that back and forth.
You did not tell me.
Or do you want me to pick one? I can pick one. I got lots of stuff to go.
Okay, yeah, you do it. You did not prepare me. Yes.
My bad. Okay, so let's, how about we use the word, I have to think about it now. I thought you had one.
You had a list.
I have a list of what we're going to talk about, but I didn't even think about a word. Okay, how about we just talk about, let's just use a generic, like,
Yeah.
reality TV word. Like, okay, how about every time we say Luann's name, we just drink? Because we're going to talk about Real Housewives of New York.
Or like a cuss word. Every time we cuss, we have to take a drink.
I like that. Let's make today's drinking word is any swear word that Cindy and I say.
We should make that the drinking game every time. Because
like okay.
The drunker we get, the more we're gonna
leave a comment. Leave a comment and let us know if you guys think that the swear word is a drink. Every time we swear, you guys drink with us.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we can evolve and change it as we make more episodes. But for now, let's just say anytime we swear,
right,
you take a drink with us.
And hopefully my 3-year-old doesn't come in here because she'll tell you to shut the fuck up.
Oh my God, I love it. We gotta do a TikTok with her saying that.
Oh, okay. Can we talk about TikTok?
Let's talk about TikTok real quick because I just got on.
Event, right? Okay. So I was asking.
It's crazy.
I was telling my 14-year-old daughter, I was like, old people are starting to get on TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. And she was like, no, are you gonna get on TikTok? Blah. So I'm just like, I thought, okay, here's what I thought TikTok was about. I thought it like kind of like the dance party. What was that game on the Wii? What was it? Dance
party.
Yeah. Okay. Where it showed you like the moves, and you just kind of followed them. So I thought that TikTok was like that, where you like started recording and it showed you how to move. Because everybody knows all these moves, but
there's a trick. You put they call it a duet. So you can take somebody that's already posted their moves.
Yeah.
And it split screens it kind of like we are right now. And you can see that person that's already posted and you can mimic them, but you can slow it down on your phone to really, really slow so you can practice
so then it does
and do their moves with them. And then it speeds it up for you. So literally I could be recording it this slow, like following them. And then when you finish recording, it speeds it up. So that's why you see it like.
She goes, you just have to know.
No, I mean, yeah.
Practice them.
Some people do know it. Like I want to try and get that J-Lo challenge down one day. Have you seen it? Okay, so TikTok, everybody that is on TikTok knows what I'm talking about. There's a J-Lo challenge where everybody's going and doing a video of them dancing to J-Lo's performance at the Super Bowl.
I was gonna say
it's really cool though.
All this stuff, I'm really, really glad that nobody's talking about J-Lo and Shakira anymore.
I know, right? They were such haters. I thought they did awesome.
Huge haters. I was so excited.
There's always hating going on in any Super Bowl performance. Like they've hated on Justin Timberlake.
The Karens.
It's just annoying. Yeah. All right, so let's fucking do this. Cheers. I wanted to swear this weekend. Cheers.
I'm almost done.
You got a refill waiting for you on the side. Don't even try it.
I do.
All right. So everyone,
show them a little cooler, and you show them your bottle. Okay. So we knew we were gonna need refills.
I got my own bar here, ready to go with some fresh ice.
And I got my little cooler. I only have 2 Coors Lights left.
Yep. I'm drinking Maker's Mark on the Rocks whiskey.
Yeah, because he's a classy gay.
All right, so
I don't know if Coors Light is white trash. I think that's more Natty Light. I think Coors Light is just like.
I'm not really into beer anymore. Not since I left Dallas, but anyway, here we go. Our next segment is talking about the Real Housewives of New York. Roni. All right, so let's get started. So lots to talk about. The season premiere. We don't have Bethany anymore. We have a new housewife. Her name is Leah. So I kind of was mixed. Let's start with the new housewife. So I kind of had mixed emotions about Leah. In the beginning, I was like, who is this basic bitch? Like I didn't really like feel for her when they were at the boxing thing, her and Tinsley. But then as the show progressed, and we'll get into that, I felt like she was just like amazing. I love her. I really think that she is maybe not filling in the shoes that Bethany has left, but I really feel like she is close to being, just as good. What do you think?
So my first notes, because we took notes.
Right.
My
Let's
first
just tell
notes.
them we know this by memory.
So the very first, like the beginning of, this whole show, they had to acknowledge that Bethany was leaving, right? And
Yeah.
so I loved how everybody used this opportunity to talk shit about her because they're so
Right.
scared of her.
Oh, shit's a
They're
swear word.
so,
If your kid
everybody
can't say it, it's a swear word.
everybody is so scared of Bethany, and so they waited until she was leaving to like say
Oh,
something.
absolutely.
Which
Absolutely.
I
And
thought
I'm glad you
was
brought that
so,
up because
yeah.
I really feel like they were all hating on her.
Yeah.
It's because she was a star.
Yeah, and she left and came back. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
my hand is so dirty. It's so gross. It better
So
not
anyway,
be on it.
yeah, so I totally agree with you. But but you didn't answer my question. What did you think about Leah?
Okay, so I really like Leah. I feel like I relate to her quite a bit because you know that I have no filter and I'll just like say whatever it comes to my mind.
Yep.
I did think that her relationship with her daughter is super weird and unhealthy. I did not like that at
Yep.
all. It was
What
weird.
was it? It was
We're
crazy. She
soulmates? Like
treated.
what the fuck? Oops, drinks.
Oh, you said a swear word.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she was like
I'm putting it
saying
in.
that her daughter was her soulmate, her best friend. Like, okay, I get it. You know, maybe it's her only child, right? And that's her daughter. She doesn't have a husband apparently. Like she has a baby
But
daddy
she
who's
dates a lot. She loves being
but
single. That's
like,
why I related to her. Even though I'm married now, but like I really did enjoy being single. You know this.
oh, absolutely. So did I. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like, yeah, that's the turn off at the beginning. I didn't like that. They could I get that they wanted to show that she was a mother, she had a 12-year-old daughter,
Right.
they had a good relationship, but I could have done without that whole scene at the coffee shop. Like it kind I think that's kind of what put me off about her.
Yeah.
Um
Well, but also she brought her up again at the party because she was like, "Do you?" Or Luann was like, "Do you know Gigi? Everybody knows Gigi." She's like, "No, I know a Kiki. It's my daughter." It's like, "Oh my god, you're gonna fucking put your daughter into every single conversation." And I
well,
just like
that's the thing is I think she was trying too hard to like let
drink. I
everybody
said fucking.
know.
You gotta drink.
Yeah. Oh.
Cause I said fucking again.
So let's move on to to Tinsley because this is her friend, right? So
Hold on.
Tinsley,
Can I just stop here?
sure.
Did you think that all of the housewives besides Leah, all of the housewives look so old? Did you think that or no? Was it just me?
I
Because
think they're
even
all more
Tinsley,
mature. I won't call them old
no,
because I'm a
no,
man and I
sir.
don't want to
No,
get
ma'am.
bashed
No,
on
ma'am.
social media.
Even Tinsley, like Tinsley looks, I mean, and they all have amazing bodies and whatever, but like their necks are all like wrinkly, and even
Think
Tinsley, like,
so?
yes,
I thought, okay, so as much as I don't really care for Ramona, she's fun to watch and everything, but I don't think that I think she's annoying, but she is fun to watch. But she does not look 60. When she said she was 60
uh,
today and she had that little meltdown, the fake meltdown because she's trying to get attention,
it
it
wasn't
doesn't
fake.
move. It's
Her
like,
face does not move. And I'm sorry,
that's what
but
I'm
I get
saying.
injections on my forehead, but like I still have some
So
kind of
she doesn't
expression.
look her age though. That's what I'm saying. I'm just proving your point.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's talk about Tinsley and stop
Tinsley.
bashing them for being older. But no, seriously, Tinsley is not. So she's not with Scott, or she is with Scott. So I'm still
So
kind of thrown off by that. I'm
do
like,
you
what the
follow
heck? And now
her
who's
on
Bruce?
social media? Do you follow her on social media?
I do not. I'll be honest. This is not my favorite. Actually, this is my least favorite
Right.
franchise of the Housewives. Like
Okay.
my very least.
So if you were to follow her, she's engaged to Scott. So at some point she
So
gets
this Bruce guy was just the fuck boy in the middle of this whole situation. It's drinking.
probably.
I just said fuck boy.
I can't see anything. I just see her. Okay.
So
But
anyway,
Tinsley, okay, so what I wrote about Tinsley is that she's single and she has a lash line.
Okay.
And she's in great shape, but she does look old.
Yeah, so Tinsley, I put here that I was surprised that she even started doing that whole boxing thing because she's one of those girly girls that
Mhm.
I just couldn't picture her getting in the ring, and the way she was bantering back and forth with her boxing coach was kind of cool. And I
Yeah.
don't like Tinsley. She still gets on my nerves, but I thought that that was really cool. I like that about her.
So, you know what I did notice because they showed previews of what this season is, this season or whatever. Her relationship with her mom and how unhealthy it is, that reminds me of Leah and her daughter and where it's gonna go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree with you
Okay,
there.
but I also want to do some more research on Leah and what is it that Married to the Mob? Because I
Yeah,
watched.
hold on, because before we get into that, because I do have that written down that I wanted to talk about that. But let's just one last comment about Tinsley that I had that
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught it, but she talks about this guy Bruce, right? So
Mhm.
apparently this is the guy during this episode that
She
she's
yes, and he has
with,
kids.
and he's also in Chicago, I think.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, but I thought it was hilarious that she compared his kids and her relationship with his
To
kids
her
to her dogs.
dog.
So a lot of people hate that. I try not to do that anymore because I have fur babies and I consider them my kids, but I know that obviously there's a big difference between having dogs and having kids. But I just thought it was hilarious when she was like, "Oh, I have a good relationship with them. I talk to them like I talk to my dogs." But if you know Tinsley and you've seen the previous seasons, this bitch is crazy. She, oh my God, lost it when her dog died. Remember that? She
Yeah.
was like, and the girls were like, "Oh my God,
And
calm
then
down."
she cried when she saw her embryos, remember?
Yes, oh my God, my baby, my
My
baby.
baby.
She
Yeah.
is a nut. Oh my gosh, she's crazy. Okay, so moving on to back to Leah. We'll move off of this little couple duo, but I really did start to like Leah when we got to the party. That's when I really started enjoying her. I love one how she had Tinsley's back when her and Dorinda got into it.
Dorinda.
I love that she had her back. I also liked how she was cock blocking Sonya.
Oh, see
That
that.
shit was so funny.
Okay, so that's when I related to her too because she's like, this guy looks like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in the bed.
That he's watching himself in the mirror and he's like,
He doesn't know, like it's like, oh,
he
that's my
was
guy.
pretty, he was cute. And he had a dad bod. If you notice what he was wearing, he had a little bit
Yeah.
of, and nothing, no shade
I
against dad bods, because I think
The
they're
whole
hot.
point was that he was young and willing to fuck the old
A
bitches.
60-year-old.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, how many drinks there? I just cuss a lot. Ooh.
I know. I don't think we should do the swear word. I think we should have stuck to like next week we'll think of something different. But
Anyways,
anyways,
okay.
so let's go back. Let's
So,
focus on the party. So
all
the
right.
party, because I honestly thought the whole show was a snooze fest until we got to the party. I literally was with my pen and paper, like trying not to fall asleep. And then we got to the party, and that's when shit started happening. And I was like, yes. So we get to this
Well,
party.
so I was like, okay, Luann, right off the bat, she talked about Broadway. Like, calm down.
She's toned it down a little. I like the fact that she still has a good relationship with Sonia, and Sonia is comfortable enough to tell her, no, you were treating us like we were your fans, and no, we're they're all they're all peers on this show, right?
Yeah.
They're all co-stars, if you will. But Leanne took it to another level last season where
Yeah.
she, was all about Leanne.
Yeah.
So I like that Sonia is still able to
Proud.
talk to her, because the other cast members on the show, if they talk to Luann about, she won't hear it. But she has
Yeah.
this relationship with Sonia that she's comfortable hearing that from her. She didn't agree with her, but she let her speak her mind.
All right. So the party.
Yes, the party. So we had Dorinda and Tinsley sitting down, right?
Mhm.
And I liked how Tinsley was like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But this
Mhm.
whole conspiracy thing, I thought it was hilarious. Like, I mean, come on. Like, who are you to think that people are making conspiracy theories about you and some guy? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, calm down. I really do agree with Dorinda on this. I don't know how you feel, but I really think that that Tinsley is not really sharing the whole truth. I think that Tinsley has a sugar daddy, and she should embrace it and be proud of it. And oh my God, at least I didn't lay on my back for shoes. I bought these shoes. Yes, Dorinda. I loved it. I love that she put her in her place.
So I'm on Tinsley's side because first of all, Dorinda, you're not a bad bitch. You're not a fucking gangsta. Like,
Made it nice.
okay, like you're not. And then it's none of your fucking business. It's none of your business. If Tinsley doesn't want to share
That
her
is true.
daddy with you, it's none of your business.
That is true, honey, but they're on a reality TV show.
It doesn't matter. She wasn't talking about, hey, if you're going to be on a reality show, she was like, if you want to be my friend, you need to be transparent. So does that mean that I have to share my whole fucking life with you?
Yes, that's your job. I'm sorry, Cindy. It's her job. This is what makes me mad. And I'll tell you, because we're going to talk about Vanderpump Rules next. But Tinsley and Sheena remind me of the same damn person. They're the same damn person. They don't see what everybody else sees around them. It's so obvious.
Okay, I see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I get what Tinsley in her mind, she's got this other, I don't know, thing in her head that she doesn't see what everybody else is seeing.
Yeah.
And I think that Sheena and her are both kind of just like their head in the clouds and they don't see what everybody else. Anyways.
I get it.
But yeah, so I really want to see how this plays out though. I saw the clips for the rest of the season after the show and I got all excited and I was like, oh my God, they're talking about her getting back with Homeboy again in Chicago. And her mom's telling her, like, even the mom, if your mother is like wondering, like, why are you taking this big leap of faith to move to Chicago? Like, this guy is your sugar daddy, dude. He does not want to marry you. Just keep getting the money, keep getting the shoes, keep doing your own thing, baby. Lala did it, and eventually she got married. So she needs to do the Lala game.
Now.
Just say, I give good blowjobs. My man loves me. He's gonna spend money on me. He buys me my, my cars. And own it.
But Lala is young, and right now it's trendy to be like authentic and whatever.
But at least Lala owns it. She doesn't like pretend to be in this.
But that's what I'm saying is like Tinsley comes from a whole different world of,
She's a Southern belle, so it's not
frowned upon. Like you don't talk about that.
Big faux pas. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So. All right, so we talked about Leah, we talked about Sonia going after the hot guy, which was hilarious. I think his name was William. It was Ramona's fuck buddy, I think. And then, so Sonia's like, Ramona's stolen my man before, so I'm gonna steal her. And then here comes cockblocker Leah. Loved it. It was fucking hilarious.
Right.
Sorry, it's at the F word. But anyway, I'm gonna end with this, and you tell me. But I thought the highlight of the whole the party was when, because obviously you guys know that Dorinda threw this party, right? So this was Dorinda's party. Dorinda had beef with what's her face, Luann. I kept calling her. I wanted to call her Leanne from like Dallas, but so Luann, right? They had this beef and the whole Giovanni thing, right? Mm-hmm. And then she hires a drag queen to come out and sing and dance, lip sync to Giovanni. Hilarious. That was probably like the best part of the entire first episode.
What I got from that was, did you see Ramona? Like she was practically having an orgasm on the dance floor.
I did, and I missed that. I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. I did not see that. I was so fixated on the drag queen and the whole Giovanni, and then Leah was making
because like
she had to Google Giovanni.
Yeah. But they were all like dancing and stuff, and like because her face can't move, and she's like,
yeah. Oh my God, that's normal, but I guess that's why she's on the reality.
Turtle time.
Turtle reminds me of Kyle's sister from Beverly Hills.
No, it was.
She loves turtles.
Ramona did Turtle Time. Have you been?
Again, this is my least favorite franchise. I like we don't follow
the earlier seasons.
Okay, that's
Turtle
probably
Time,
why.
whenever she got really fucking drunk, and then she would like dance and she'd be like, turtle time.
That's hilarious. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that because I've never seen that. But all right. So any other last comments or observations that you had about Roni before we move on?
Nope.
All right.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. Go.
Sonia being so upset about her daughter going to college, but she's been in boarding school her whole fucking life. Come on.
Yeah, but she's really close. And so was Ramona. Ramona's close. It's so funny because Ramona goes to parties with her daughter. And her daughter's in her freaking 20s. Her
But
mom's 60
I'm
years
saying,
old.
like, what's the difference between being in boarding school and being in college?
No, I get it. I
Whatever.
think, but yeah. All right. So let's move on. But tune in
Vanderpump.
next week. We're gonna do this weekly, so we'll give you another Real Housewives of New York update next week on when we
Right.
do the second episode. But let's move on to Vanderpump Rules. Woo-hoo. And sorry, I don't have the music, but you can hear it in
The
your
best
head.
days of our lives.
So what I wanted to talk about was there's a lot. Let's start with let's just get this out of the way because it was kind of stupid, but worth talking about. Jax. So one of the Toms, Sandoval, let's call him Sandoval. Sandoval and I guess Max or no, not Max. Yeah, it was Max. Sandoval and Max went to Jax's house and they TP'd it, his brand new house, right? So
Right.
Jax was pissed. But I liked how they played it off. Like Sandoval's a good actor. So like just the fact that he was able to pull it off and make them believe that his house got TP'd too. And like it was a big old, like it was pretty cool. But then it makes you think like if he can like be such a great actor about that, what other stuff is he acting on? Like the whole best man thing that he had and he got thrown out of the wedding and all that.
So I listen a lot to Watch What Crappens, which I've sent you,
Yeah, I've heard it before. A couple times.
Yeah. And so their thing is like they do the voices for all of the people on Bravo. And for Sandoval, they're always like, dude, blah, 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 dude, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I always think of whenever I see Tom Sandoval on the TV. I'm always like, dude, blah, blah, blah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, there's another show that I watch on
California
Sirius.
dude,
There's and I think you've seen her on Bravo. She comes out on Watch What Happens Live every now and then. She'll be a host, but she has her own show on Sirius, Reality Checked, and she does all the housewives, and she is spot on. She does a really good Teresa Giudice, which is funny. Yeah, it reminds me of her, but I listen to her very often.
Well, and then like whenever they talk about Jax, they always start him off by like snorting some cocaine.
Oh my God!
Yes,
yes. He always looks like he's coked up. Oh my God! So, anyways, I just want to talk about that. Only to call out that Sandoval is a good actor, and I think that some of this shit that they do and talk about is planned and fake. It's almost turning into the Kardashians. Like it's so.
Speaking of the Kardashians, have you watched this season?
No, because my husband hates watching, so I gotta wait till he's off.
Okay,
I'm sorry, till he's working, so I can watch
get
it by
into
myself.
a fist fight.
I saw the previews. Don't even talk to me about it because
I won't talk to you about it. No,
but we will talk about it eventually. I just need to get caught up, and it just started, so we might do like a catch up with that. But yeah. So to my point, I think the whole TP thing kind of called out how good Sandoval is at acting. And so did he really mean it when he was crying when Jax threw him out of the wedding? Jax and Brittany bring up the whole that they never see Sandoval once the cameras stop rolling. Yeah, so that I just want to kind of briefly touch about that. I don't know what you think. Do you think they're acting and plotting it out like Kardashians do?
I think that Tom Sandoval and Ariana, I think that they are authentic. I think that they just get busy with normal life, and like Jax and Brittany, this is all they have. Like this is it, is the reality TV show. But I think that Sandoval and Ariana, that have the book, like the mixed drinks book or whatever they have, and they do all kinds of things. And so
and they have Tom.
right, that he has Tom Tom, and I just feel like if Sandoval doesn't reach out to Jax like once a week or whatever, then Jax has this
He's an attention
narrative.
whore. He gets mad because he
Right,
thinks he's the
right.
number one. Remember, he always says, "I'm the number one guy."
Right. And I've thought about like, okay, because I want to go to California, and I want to go to Tom Tom or Sir or even Villa Blanc.
Wow, we
Uh,
need to do it.
and so I thought like, okay, well, what would I do if I were to run into them? And Jax, I'm like, ugh. You know, he's so played out and old. Like, who cares? I would really like to meet Tom Sandoval and Schwartz, you know, like just to meet them, like
I
to say
think they
hi.
would be so much fun.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
take a shot with them or
Yep.
whatever. Stassi, I love her, and I'm so happy with where she's
Oh
at
my
right
God, Stassi reminds me of you. Basic
now.
bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so enough about Jackson Brittany. So I think the funniest thing that I've seen in a long time on that show that was not planned out was the whole Sheena and Brett scene when Brett invited Sheena to be on his
And she's middle aged? Like,
YouTube.
Ricky,
That
am
was
I
so
middle
messed up. Did you
aged?
see her face?
Am I middle aged? Like, what the? Okay, because let me
No,
tell
but
you,
I mean, Brett was being very shady, and I think
can
Brett was trying to like put up that stop. I'm not interested in you because she doesn't get it. Her
I know
and Tashki
she
are
does.
like in this whole other world.
I know. But okay, can we go back to the middle age thing?
Okay.
Because my great grandmother just died last month,
Mhm.
and she was, I think, 104.
Oh,
So,
okay. She lived a long life. Good for her.
okay, so does that mean that I won't be middle aged till I'm like in my 50s?
That's
I
usually
am
what
30.
middle age is in their 50s. So that
I
guy was
am
being shady.
35. Like,
Brett
calm
was
the
being
fuck down.
shady. Oh my God, don't take it personal. He was literally
I
being
did
shady.
take it personal. I was like, what the fuck, Brett?
Ah, struck a nerve. So, anyways, Brett, which I think is hot, and I enjoy that he was fucking with Sheena that way. It was
I don't think
hilarious.
he's hot at all. But you know
Yeah,
the taste.
I
You
think he's hot if he just stands there and doesn't say anything. But when he
you
starts talking and
know,
being
you know
himself,
my
that
taste
it's
in
a great
men.
difference.
I have terrible taste in men. I don't think that he's hot at all.
No, you don't have terror. I think no, you don't. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway,
You trying to give him my
okay,
husband,
so
bitch? You trying to give him my husband, bitch?
huh, huh, how do you know he ain't trying to get with me?
Ooh.
Hey, yeah. So let's talk about Max and Dana because I think Max is cute too. Why do I have a thing for douchebags? Okay, so Max is a douchebag, complete douchebag. But I think he's cute, and I feel bad for Dana because she wants this thing to work so bad, and all these girls were like totally 80 and supposedly trying to warn her and be good girlfriends, bitches. They were being very messy.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. Do you believe Max that he had that whole relationship before, and he was trying to break it off now that he was exclusive with Dana?
I think that Max really did like Dana.
Yeah,
I
I do
like
too.
I think he's a fuckboy. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
absolutely.
I fully believe that he has done everything that all these other women have accused him of doing.
Mhm.
But I think that he did Dana right. Like, I don't think that he, did her wrong
Oh,
because
he did
she's
her
super,
right. That's why she likes him.
because, but she's so pretty.
Oh, she's so pretty.
No, I mean, like, her
I'm
face is
just
so,
kidding. Sorry, it took me back.
yeah,
But
I
no,
know.
you're right. He is a fuckboy, and she is very pretty, but she's
Right.
also a cool chick. I really like her. I think
Right.
she's a cool chick. And I could see how Sheena was very threatened by her.
Intimidated.
Intimidated,
Right.
absolutely. I
Right.
think they should be really good friends, and I think it'll be like the way everybody was with Lala at the beginning. I think Sheena and her will end up being really good friends after she gets over the fact that all the
Okay,
guys
but
like her more than Sheena.
but I think everybody is friends with Lala now because of Rand.
Absolutely, 110%. Well, especially Jax. Jax
Yeah,
would not give Lala any the any attention if it weren't
right,
for Rand. And then
right.
Rand too. Rand's a little thirsty for being, a rich director or whatever he does, a producer,
Well,
for being on a
apparently,
show, a reality TV
according to
show.
Lala's Instagram, she had to beg him to be on the show. So I
It
think he's
doesn't look
playing
like
the part.
it.
I think he's just playing the part. I really do.
So what I'm interested in seeing is when this whole 50 Cent beef happened and if it's gonna be on the show. That's gonna be
Not.
hilarious.
It's not because it already happened before the show. Because that's why,
Oh,
remember
how nobody brought it up?
they did. James brought it up a couple
Oh,
of
did he?
episodes
Oh,
ago.
but yeah, he can't really do much because Lala will get pissed and then stop talking to
Yeah,
him.
whatever.
So okay.
All
And
right.
that's another thing. Like,
Right.
do you believe that he's really trying to get sober and he's doing
Yeah.
because in one of his confessionals he said, I'll do whatever she says, but I don't really care. Like he made it seem like
Yeah, but on the Watch What Happens Live, he's been sober for almost a year now.
okay. See, I try not to like. I mean, I do watch What Happens Live. I do watch it, but it sucks because they tell you stuff that's already happened, and I'm like trying to watch the show as it's
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
Well, and I follow them on social media and stuff too, but
all right. Last thing I want to talk about before we stop the whole Vanderpump segment. So Tom and Katie had this really big blow up at the end, right? So I honestly, for the first time, felt bad for Katie. I really don't care for her as a person. I
yeah,
think she's very
boring.
not just boring, but I think she's a fucking bitch and a mean girl. Oops, sorry.
I think she's just very boring and lazy.
Yeah, they're cutting to her, and she's like, she has nothing going for her other
Hey,
than her
but
husband.
what do you think about Kristen? Like, she's all out of the group, but
I
she's
feel
just
bad for Kristen because I've been in that situation. I've been in that
we all.
stupid situation. I think we all have. So I
Okay,
feel
but
for
how
her.
about
And those, hold up, Cindy. I'm going to bring up a good point. Both you and I have been in that situation that Kristen is in right now with that guy that is a loser and is, using her and taking advantage of her. Um, Not to say that my ex-boyfriends did that, but like it was just toxic, right? But what I'm saying is if it weren't for you and a lot of my other friends that I was more close to, I wouldn't have come out of it. So why are they? I get it. You guys probably got tired of me talking about shit that I kept going through and going on. And you and I even got into it a couple of times because I was stupid in my relationships, right? But you never left my side. You may have gotten pissed off, but we talked through it and we moved on. Why are they so quick to just drop her? Why? Like, and she made a good point. Kristen was like, I stood by you when Tom was cheating on you, and she got pissed. No, it's the same shit. You had a toxic situation, and I didn't leave you. You were being stupid, but I didn't leave you, and I'm still supporting your relationship.
I think the difference is,
It's a more toxic relationship. I get it.
well, no, not even that, but I think that she's lying to them and
What
they're
do you mean lying about what?
about Carter. Like, she is still having sex with Carter, but she won't tell Katie and Stassi.
Because
And
of how they react to it.
I mean, maybe,
Why
but
would I keep telling you something when you're constantly complaining that all I do is bitch about the man that I'm in?
I think, like, okay, look, like, I can tell you about, like, you, like, our stuff,
Right, our situation,
right?
experience, our past,
Because
right.
we would be completely honest with each other. We would like, I know better, but I can't leave. Like, I need help. Like, I can't
You're
leave.
proving my point.
But
They're not, that's what a good friend does.
I
Obviously,
know,
you're a good friend.
but Kristen is sitting there saying, like, no, I'm done with him. We're broken up, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 hours later, she's having sex with him and isn't telling them. And so if it
Because
were
she's
me,
ashamed.
but if it were me, but like, we're friends. And so if it were me and I was
I
telling you,
get
"Hey,
it.
Ricky, like, I don't think that you should be with so and so because they treat you bad, blah, blah, blah." And you're like, I know, but oh my gosh, like, I can't, like, I'm so weak and I can't leave him. Then I would be more empathetic towards you. But you're
I
sitting
think
there like fuck him. He's not moving in with me, blah, blah, blah. But then like you find out later on that he did move in with you and you are still having sex with him. It's like, as a friend on the outside, you're like, what the fuck, dude? You know, you're sitting here
Right.
telling me to my face that you're not, you know what I mean? Oh, I cuss a lot.
I know,
This
you're
is
making me
completely
drink
not.
too much, cabrona. Anyway, so my point being, and we'll end it on this, is that Kristen needs friends like us. Unconditional love, tough love, yes.
Right.
But
But
like,
I
I
also
don't
think that
think
she
that the
should be
witches of
honest.
WeHo should have broken up over this idiot.
I still think that she should have been honest too.
Yeah, but they should still throw her a bone and like understand that not everybody
because
can cope with it the same way.
Like when Stassi was going through her shit with Patrick,
Right.
she was honest and she's like, I'm not
Was she
leaving
really
him.
though?
Yeah, she was, because she's like, I'm not leaving him. I love him and I want to be with him. And everybody
Okay, I see
was
what
like,
you're saying.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Kristen is sitting here to her
Yeah, but
friends.
we're not all the same. We're not all the same. And I'll leave it at this. Sorry. Um, Stassi and Katie are control freaks, and they cannot control how Kristen is dealing with this relationship. And I think it pisses them off. And it's easier for them to just wipe clean. And
What did you think? Can I just ask, what did you think about Kristen's conversation with Bo whenever she was like crying to Bo, was like, you don't even call me anymore?
oh, she was trying to get somebody to be on her side. I felt so bad for her. That was her last desperate attempt to have somebody at least
No,
understand her. But
no,
she's
no.
wrong. I
I'm just
get
like,
it, Cindy. She's
I'm
wrong.
sorry, no, but like, if me and John were really good friends before you and John got together, I
Okay.
would never hold it against him for choosing you over me. Never.
Right. No.
And it's
I'm
happened
not
before.
saying what she did was right. What I'm saying is I felt bad for her because she was desperate. She was desperate to get
I don't
somebody
feel
to
sorry
just feel
for her.
bad for her.
I don't feel sorry for her. I think she's stupid. I think she's a stupid woman and she doesn't see what is going on. And I just have no patience for
I
her.
think we've all been in a situation
I agree with you.
like Kristen. We may have handled it differently, but I feel like she needs friends to bring her out of that shit and bring her into a better place. That's all. That's
Maybe.
all I'm saying. I'm not saying what she did is right. I'm not saying that
Okay.
she's not a stupid woman. I'm just saying I feel bad for her.
All right.
And those witches of WeHos should fucking abolish that wine and be done with it. All right. So now that we're done with Vanderpump Rules, we want to do our final and last segment, which we're going to be giving what we're calling the ELLAAA of the week. So ELLAAA is kind of like, if you watch What Happens Live, he does a mazel. Well, we're doing an ELLAAA of the week. Huh?
It's a shout out of the week.
Shout out, yes, shout out. It's a shout out, or we could throw shade, like you said earlier. Sometimes we use the ELLAAA as a shade. So I will start with my ELLAAA of the week. Please. And ELLAAA of the week is going to go to my best sister from another mister, my best friend, my best man at my wedding. His name is Johnny Torres. I've known him forever and a day, and every time, speaking of like what I was saying earlier about Chris, he has been there for me. He's picked me up no matter how stupid I was. I love him. And he's the one who actually inspired the whole ELLAAA. My whole family knows him by that. Every time he comes into the room, everybody goes, ELLAAA. So it's his word that we're stealing from him. So I'm giving him the very first ELLAAA of the week on our ELLAAA podcast. So I love you, Donnie, Janetta. Mwah. All right, Cindy, what's your ELLAAA of the week?
My ELLAAA of the week, Ricky, as you know, my sister is a nurse practitioner now. So she has been in the medical industry for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So my ELLAAA of the week is for all of the medical professionals out there that are on the front line throughout this entire pandemic. You guys are fucking killing it, and we could not survive as a nation without y'all. You know, you guys are show up to work every single day and you don't care, that you can be infected. You're there to care for other people. And my sister was telling me the other day that a lot of her friends that are in the ICU level of the county hospital here, they're having to move out of their homes just so that they can reduce the risk of
Passing it to their
exposing,
loved ones.
yeah, their loved ones to this awful disease.
How are her husband and her daughter with this whole how is she feeling
So,
about?
so my sister
Is she coming in contact with some of these
No,
infected?
so my sister graduated from grad school in December, and she got a job at a pain management clinic. And so a couple of weeks before this whole thing kind of erupted, she was working for this clinic. So she's working from home now. She's not seeing
Okay, good,
people.
good.
But she worked at the county hospital in the ICU level for, I don't know, like over 10 years. So
Wow.
one of her very, very good friends, she was just tested positive for the virus, and she's had very, very minimal symptoms, but she is still very, very concerned about who she could have infected.
Absolutely.
And I
It's
have,
scary.
right, and I have another friend, she's an office manager at her clinic, and one of the nurses tested positive too, and they had tents outside testing and stuff, and she's pregnant. So it's just a very, very scary time. But you nurses and doctors and just anybody who works in the medical
Yeah.
profession, you guys get up every day and you go to work,
Very
and
selfless.
very, very selfless. You guys are on the front line. So my A of the week is for you guys, because I could never do it. I'm complaining about staying home with 2 toddlers and a teenager every day, and it's nothing compared to what you guys are going through, right?
To our healthcare professionals. Thank you guys for all that you guys are doing for us. And that concludes our very first episode of
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. Cindy and I are excited to see where this takes us, and we look forward to another fabulous episode. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Mwah. Bye, everyone.